Hey, what's up? It's your boy.
Don't nobody know you, honey.
So, I have been saving content to create videos on my YouTube channel. And the thing that I want to briefly talk about is something that I was going to use in my video because this weekend has been very interesting. But I want to talk about these two incidents really quickly. And it is so interesting to me, just how people can center themselves in situations that have nothing to do with them, and they also can't understand why solidarity is so important. And you really can't reason with people who are uninterested in growing and maturing and learning that everything is not about you. So yesterday I was scrolling down Facebook, which I know it's something that I shouldn't do. And as I was scrolling, I told myself, hey, please close this wretched app and go do something productive. It was like 8:30 in the morning. I was already up and at 'em. And I saw that my friend had posted something on Facebook with regards to racism and the current president and one of his deceased followers. And so underneath her status, people were coming at her left and right. I don't know how she does it. I would shut down completely. This is why I don't post a lot of content, because I'm really not built like that. I'm really not built to go back and forth with people. But anyway, so under her status, a young woman, she basically disagreed with her, saying that show me where these people are racist. And I responded with, they are and were indeed racist. Get stuffed. Now, get stuffed. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I heard it was watching Wicked, where Elphaba said it to the prince that was on the horse. I don't know his name. Please don't hate me. But she said, "Get stuffed, like piss off. Like I don't really need you to do anything for me. Like kick rocks, bruh." And so when I posted "Get stuffed," I immediately my conscience my conscience is it be getting to me. You know what I'm saying? So I said, man, nah, don't do that to that lady. Delete this, and apologize. And I said, I'm sorry for saying, get stuffed. It's a Saturday. Please have a good day. I was still probably being a little snarky, but I didn't want to say that to her. And so I deleted it. She came back with, oh, yeah, like you told me to get stuffed and you threatened to me. Now, usually, I've grown enough to say that I let a lot of things go, because you really can't reason with an unreasonable person on social media, because on social media, people don't really share their opinions to be checked or corrected. They share their opinions because a lot of times they want attention, or they need someone, they need to fight with someone because they need to feel something. And that's just how I feel, And so, but the reason why I bit back was because there is a history of women of a certain demographic who have falsely accused Black men of some of the most heinous crimes. And because of those false accusations, Black men have been hanged, have been mutilated, have been castrated, have been murdered for false accusations. May I introduce you to Emmett Till? Now, I'm in no way comparing myself to Emmett Till, but the situation is still the same. This lady accused me of threatening to unalive her and posted it on social media. I screenshot it and I responded to her. I said, now you have gone and done it. Like this simply will not stand. Like you cannot accuse me of something that I did not do. And you might not understand the historical, implications that are there, and how hurtful that is, and how damaging it is for a woman to say that a Black man, threatened to take her down to the night water. You know what I'm saying? Take her to, the great beyond. And so I let her have it. And then she came back with, well, where I'm from, that's considered, threatening someone with death. She ain't from nowhere special. But see, what happens is she had to play the victim. She had to do that because that's what people who don't use this and don't have this, that's what they do. And, calling her out, some people see that as mean spirited, but that's the problem. A lot of times Black people are forced to operate within the confines of someone else's comfort. I've done that for way too long. There have been plenty of times where I've walked into buildings where I knew that as the only Black man that I would be looked at funny or looked at differently. There have been times where I have not felt comfortable as a Black man because of, my history with people who have mistreated me simply because of the color of my skin. And in this situation, Miss Mamas needed to know that what she said about me could be absolutely damaging. Because all someone needs to see her say some stuff like that to cause a world of trouble for me. And I had to let her know, and I was not backing down. I never threatened to unalive you. But the fact that you said it and the fact that you don't even understand. See, a lot of times when people do things like that, they don't want to understand. They don't have to understand because they have created these ideas in their own minds about someone. How dare I have an opinion? And how dare I say get stuffed? You know what I'm saying? I know that's rude. I know it's rude. But you take it to the extreme when you say that means that I am threatening to have you no longer walk in this earth. You know what I'm saying? And I really haven't processed it because I try not to harbor trauma. I try not to harbor trauma, especially somebody that I don't know and will never see and will never interact with. I saw we have quite a few mutual friends on Facebook. And so I surely hope that they understand that what she did was disrespectful and was disgusting. So, all right, shifting gears. Bad Bunny performed at the Super Bowl halftime show this evening. You know what? He did his damn thing. I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but I know a lot of the songs, and what I was seeing, it doesn't matter what I was seeing. I enjoyed the performance, and if you didn't enjoy the performance, that's okay too, because everyone has their opinions. But it's when the opinions become less, about cultural competence and more about you centering yourselves, that's when your opinion is trash. Okay, but you have an opinion. You have an opinion, and you should. Sweet Summer Blessing. I think that we should all, exercise sharing our opinions, but also know that you sharing your opinion on a public platform doesn't mean that you're not going to get some pushback. One of the things that I had to understand on Facebook, as I've been, like I said, an OG since 2004, is that I can post things and people are going to have opinions, and that's okay. But this young man posted why he didn't like Bad Bunny's performance. And it's okay to not like it, but he started speaking about the way that he spoke and the things that he was saying. And that is a part of his culture, and that's a part of how he performs. And so also, this young man, is from a marginalized community, but he's still a white man. And in that, especially, not all, I have to say not all, but a lot of white gays think that they suspend privilege because they're gay. No, you don't. You are still, I, as a man, I have certain privileges that a lot of women in films, my trans sisters don't have, and so what I was sharing was perspective. I was saying, you know what, you have to be careful not centering yourself. And also, I think that sometimes we should stand in solidarity and be silent about the things that aren't gonna, it's unnecessary, this man stood up on that stage against Donald Trump, against Turning Point USA, against racist people, Republicans, conservatives, and people who just didn't want to hear Spanish music. And somehow you think that your opinion, although you didn't attack him for any of those things, that your opinion stands above everyone else's. And but when you share it, and it's okay, but when you share it, I think that if you share it on a public platform, people are allowed to share their perspective. And so I just shared, basically like, hey, when you center yourself, you're forgetting why he's there and what he's portraying. Yes, I know you probably don't want the backstory. You want to just dance mindlessly. And he kept calling things dumb and saying, Lady Gaga was dumb and all looked dumb and all this stuff. And it's like, bruh, eat a Snickers. You know what I'm saying? So when I responded, obviously he responded back, and then he he said that I was insinuating that he was a racist asshole. And the thing is, if I ever say something about you, it's what I've said. I never have to insinuate anything. If I wanted to call you a racist, so I would just say it. I have no problem saying it if I think it's true. If I think it's true, I'm going to say that you are racist. Donald Trump is racist. I never called this young man racist, but to immediately begin to say that, I'm insinuating that, that's him making himself the victim. And that's what people do when they're put into a corner, when they're told, hey, let's think critically about this. It's okay. It's okay to think critically. But when you put negative things out like that into the world, you get embarrassed when somebody questions you or challenges your opinion. Yes, it's your opinion, but it's still negative. I'm not saying you have to like anything everybody does, but just because you want to tune out and listen to some music and Bad Bunny's not your taste in music, that's okay. Just shut up. I mean, what I mean is that it is okay to not like something, but also as a queer man, you understand that adding your voice to this cacophony of vengeful, angry, people who don't want to see a Puerto Rican man on stage, nothing differentiates you from what they're saying. So I'm not calling you, I'm not insinuating that you're a racist. You're just modeling some of the actions that racists are doing and things that they're saying. So if, a hit dog will always holler, you know what I'm saying? Have a great day. Peace. Oh, last thing. I don't like making enemies. And if I pull your ticket and not clock it, it's probably because I had a reason to. And if you feel very deeply and you accuse me of doing something that I didn't do, that says a lot more about you than it does about me. So check that.